I've come up to Noble's Hospital to talk with Dr Long, who works with the Macmillan group, and you're a doctor for them. And the big news that's been coming out, and it's a great bit of information here, that the waiting times have now dropped here at Noble's, thanks to yourself, for instance, being employed by this group to help out and reduce that waiting time. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. One of the problems before my arrival was a delay in patients receiving their diagnoses. The diagnosis being made by the pathologist. There's only one before I came, so there are now two of us, and that has meant that the waiting times for diagnosis have been halved.
And when people give to this charity, this is what the sort of thing that get back. I mean, to fund your salary, basically.
Yes, we're improving the speediness of the patient's journey through the hospital. We're only part of the story, of course, but what we were causing delays previously, and they have now been largely removed.
And what is the situation like on the Isle of Man as far as cancer rates go, for instance?
I think cancer rates are broadly comparable to the rest of the UK. I think the population here is slightly older, and in the elderly have a greater incidence of cancer, so perhaps there is a slightly greater incidence, but that's simply a factor of the age profile of the population.
But by having you here, I mean, people go for tests, and this waiting time, what was it and what is it now?
Well, what we're talking about are patients with suspected malignancy, suspected cancer, seeing the GP, being referred to the hospital, having a biopsy. There were delays in that biopsy being reported and a diagnosis being made and action then being taken. We've reduced the waiting times for instance, breast cancer diagnoses by more than half. It's now being turned around in a matter of 3 days. Previously, it was nearer 2 weeks. So substantial reductions in the times there.
And for anyone in that situation, that must be a terrible, worrying time, not knowing.
Of course, it's a very worrying time, and the sooner that people can be put in the picture and things started to be put in place for their treatment, the better it is, of course, yes.
The Isle of Man's well known for giving to charities. Is this a good example of what can be done?
Yes, obviously. I think there's a very, very good use of charitable funds, yes.
And is there any more that you would like to see done?
Well, I think Macmillan do a wonderful job in supporting patients in all sorts of ways. It's a relatively novel investment by Macmillan to fund a pathologist. They normally have people in more support roles. So it's a new development, and I'm glad it's worked well for them.